JLR investigates. Susan Smith, parole denied, and she cries, folks. I'm going to play this clip right here of Susan Smith begging for mercy to the parole board. She wants to get out of prison after serving 30 years, and she cries. She completely bawls. Check it out.
It's okay, Susan. Just talk with us.
I know that what I did was horrible. And I would give anything if I could go back and change it. And I love Michael and Alex with all my heart.
Ms. Smith, were you under the influence of drugs or alcohol the night that you murdered your children?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Your attorney talked about working with mental health. Is that helpful to you?
Ma'am,
Mr. Thomas
I hear you.
Mr. Thomas talked about the fact that you were working with mental health, and my question is that helpful to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that you would be willing to continue with on the outside if you were granted parole?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Smith, your crime took a lot of resources from the law enforcement community. What, if anything, would you say to the folks who worked so hard to find your children if you had the opportunity to speak to them today?
That I'm sorry that I put them through that. I really, really am. And I'm especially sorry to the drivers that I had to find them. I wish I could take that back. I really do. I didn't lie to get away with it. I really didn't. I was just scared. I didn't know how I could tell the people that loved them that they would never see them again. I didn't know how I could tell David he couldn't see his sons again. And I'm sorry. I don't know. I know that's not enough. I know it's not, but I don't know. I know those just have like words, but they come from my heart. They really do.
Right. One of the things that we review is your institutional record, and you've had some infractions throughout the years, some involving the use of some narcotics. Do you have any issues with drugs or alcohol at this point?
I don't. No, ma'am, I don't.
And you had a recent disciplinary infraction just a few months ago. So why should this board think that if we grant you parole that you're going to go out and follow the rules and the laws of society if you do not follow the rules within the institution?
Well, this last infraction, I was trusted the wrong person. This lady contacted me and I trusted her. I thought she was going to do a documentary on mental health, and I really am not guilty of what they charged me with, and I have filed an appeal on that charge. And as far as your question, I've never been in trouble before, and the things that I have been found guilty of in here have been just stupidity. I know I made a lot of mistakes in here, and I have learned from them. And before this last infraction, it had been 10 years. Because I grew up and I knew that I needed to stop making dumb decisions. And I did. I knew it was time to just to grow up and do the right thing. I just made a lot of dumb choices and mistakes in here. So I know I've learned from those mistakes.
What do you feel is the most
And I'm not
important
gonna do
thing that
that.
you've learned while you've been incarcerated?
Ma'am,
What do you think is the most important thing that you have learned while you have been incarcerated?
That people are important, that forgiveness and love, that family is important, and that decisions we make not just affect us, they affect the people that we love. And not to take things or people for granted.
All right, is there anything else that you would like to tell us today that wasn't in your packet or that has not already been said?
I would just like to say that I am a Christian, and God is a big part of my life, and I know He has forgiven me, and it is by His grace and mercy and I have a lot of faith, and I live by that every day. And I just ask that you show that same kind of mercy as well. And I guess, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions
Okay, thank
from
you.
the board?
So Susan Smith, ultimately unanimously denied by all members of the parole board. She is not getting out, folks, anytime soon. Now, by statute and law in South Carolina, parole, she's allowed to see the parole board again in 2 years from now. But in this particular case, she had all the victims' family members there, including the solicitor, the Union County sheriff, the sheriff in that area. She's not getting out anytime soon. Susan Smith's not getting out 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, 8 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't think she ever gets out. Do you think she should get out? Do you believe did you see any sympathy there in that pleading for mercy that she gave to the parole board? I didn't see any there. Susan Smith, praying for her two children's, her children lost their lives. Her children were very, very young, Michael and Alexander, at the lake there in Union County. It's just a terrible tragedy. We did the whole live stream on JLR Investigates, the whole parole hearing, and also the whole parole hearing process was interesting, listening and hearing and seeing the other inmates being denied. They only have an 8% chance. A violent criminal only has an 8% chance of making parole in South Carolina. Not today, Susan Smith. Not today. She didn't get it, and she's not going to get it ever. So, are these fake tears? Are they crocodile tears when it comes to Susan Smith? Praying for the victim's family. This was the right call here, because there would have been huge outrage if she would have hit the streets, particularly when she just received prison infractions just a few months prior to this hearing for working on a documentary. She was looking to profit from this crime. And another thing we learned is she never apologized to her then husband, David Smith. 30 years, and she never apologized to the guy. Poor guy. So she's just a narcissist. She's just she's looking out for herself. It doesn't seem like she cared, and I don't think they were real tears, and I don't think she has any real sympathy about the situation. Let me know what you think. JLR Investigates. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. I'll be back in 2 years covering her parole hearing then, so stay tuned. JLR Investigates.